Welcome to a night of total terror.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its time.
We must not be lulled by the concept that these are our family members or our friends. They are not. They will not respond to such emotion.
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all time.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
First came the night, then came the dawn. Now comes the most eagerly awaited day in horror film history.
Welcome back to Thursday of the Dead, episode 332. My name is Jace. As you can see, today's episode is about Photobustas. And the question still remains, how do you spell it? Also, yesterday was George Romero's birthday, so I thought I'd make this weird AI version of George celebrating his birthday with some zombies. I think he'd laugh. I don't know.
So tell me, is it Photobusta with an F or Photobusta with a PH?
This Thursday, the earth will not keep its dead. From the minds that haunt your dreams and the artists who made monsters breathe, they rise. Into the fog, into your nightmares. Thursday of the Dead, coming soon.
Okay, so here is my frame that I got recently for my Photobustas. My intention, well, first of all, look at this George A. Kramer and R. Burr. The Italian releases have all these typos, which crack me up. I've got a couple posters with George A. Kramer on it. And I've used this poster frame basically as storage for my other Photobustas. And the reason is a weird one. I found my original intention was to frame one of my Dawn Photobustas. Basically the basement zombies, which is somewhere else. I'm not sure where that is. But you'll see here in a moment kind of the ones that I have. And from what I think happened, I think I bought two different small incomplete lots of Photobustas for Dawn. And in one of those lots, I'd forgotten that they included 3 title cards, which is very strange. And that ended up becoming the contest, which you'll see the entries for at the end of this. The other thing that I found that was strange was when I tried to frame one of the other Dawn Photobustas, it was too small. And the night ones fit. So I'm like, okay, so night it is. And I ended up putting my second night Photobusta behind the first one. And so here are my Dawn Photobustas. And I think I have the plaid shirt zombie one somewhere. I'm not sure where that one is either. But there are lots of cool ones. The trouble with Photobustas is because they're pretty big. They're like 18 or 19 by 27, something like that. They take up a lot of space. And so my idea was, instead of trying to frame a bunch of them, just frame one and have them all in that frame. In that way, maybe once a month, once every 2 months, I could switch them out. And so I do plan on doing that. The issue is that they're not all the same size, which was kind of a wake up for me. And I'm not sure why that is. And everything I found online basically says they're all like 19 by 27, but obviously they're not, because as you'll see here in a moment, I'm being really clumsy about trying to demonstrate this. Just trying to show you how the night one is actually larger than the dawn. Just a little bit. I'm sure that has something to do with release year, but it was news to me. And so what makes it weirder is I have some Photobustas from Savini's Night of the Living Dead that I think are a little bit smaller. And so I have to find those, and then I'll see if they fit in the frame. If not, I guess I'll have to get a mat or something. And I have a bunch of beat-up Land of the Dead Photobustas that I bought for cheap. And so here they all are, back in their frame. All of them are in there. And the frames can be pretty expensive, which is another reason not to buy a whole bunch of those. I think the frame was like $50. Okay, so here are those Photobustas that I mentioned, or the title cards for the Photobustas. So here is, and they all are beat up. They all have pinholes. There's not like a really good one in there. And so that was my idea of like, oh, let me share some of these. And so, of course, what I did is ask for submissions, and a couple of you followed through and did it, and you'll be rewarded. And so the first one is Paul Farvor.
Hey, what's up, Jace? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Paul Farvor coming at you. Yeah, I've shown off this piece of my Dawn of the Dead collection before, numerous times over the years. It's definitely like the number one item in my collection. The 1978 Italian Cinevox release of Zombie Dawn of the Dead soundtrack, signed by all four members of Goblin. And the coolest thing about this, the last signature I got was Simonetti's right here, and that was his Claudio Simonetti's Goblin was doing a tour for, it was, I think his first time doing Suspiria back in 2017. And he was at the Oriental Theater here in Milwaukee. And I brought this to get signed, and Mark Borchardt was doing a Q&A before the show, and he asked him a bunch of questions. And that was really cool because Mark Borchardt's a huge Romero and Dawn of the Dead fan. And I had Simonetti sign this, and Mark came up to me and was like, "Oh, you got that signed? You got all four of them on there? Oh, that's really cool, man." You know, in how Mark talks, you know, if you've ever heard him talk, "Oh man, that's awesome, dude. That's totally cool, rad, man." He was so enthusiastic and excited about it, and it was cool because I never met him before, and that was awesome to meet him. And American Movie is just freaking awesome, so that was really cool. But yeah, still, I love this thing. Goblin, my favorite band of all time, and yeah, super happy to still have this in my collection, the one piece I'll never part with. So yeah, just want to share the little tidbit about this signed record, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, hope you're doing well. Keep up the awesome work on your channel. Love your videos every week. Gives me something to look forward to, and looking forward to the next one. All right, man, take it easy.
Hey, Jace, this is my entry for the Thursday of the Dead contest for the Dawn of the Dead Italian Photobusta title card. Thinking about Dawn of the Dead, and probably one of my favorite memories of Dawn was actually the first time I saw it. My older cousin, I was sleeping over at his house, and I always looked up to him, and you know, he decided to show me Dawn of the Dead, and he said it's got the monsters from Thriller in it, and I was like, all right, cool, let's check it out. And I vividly remember sort of camping out on the living room floor in front of the TV. They had one of those big 80s style TVs that, you know, at the time was a big screen TV. And I can actually remember the carpeting, you know, almost matching the carpet on the walls in the very beginning of Dawn in the newsroom, which I thought was very odd. And there were certain images and shots that just stuck in my head from that first viewing. Obviously the zombies in the basement tenement, you know, having their little feast, and Jim Crut, you know, that whole moment at the airport. But also Flyboy, when Flyboy comes back as a zombie, the elevator doors opening, and seeing him, and seeing that, you know, seeing his grotesque transformation. You know, here was a character that we sort of loved or grew to love throughout the entire movie, and here he was, you know, zombie, and he's got the frickin' gun tangled on his finger. That was a detail that always stuck out in my mind too. And obviously Roger turning into a zombie too, after he gets bit, being wheeled around in the cart throughout the mall as they're locking the entrances as well. That was something that just always stuck out. And obviously seeing Roger as a zombie, on the front cover, it all kind of came together for me. But yeah, and I remember waking up that night because I had slept over, or waking up the next morning, and I was kind of terrified of Dawn of the Dead and zombies in general. So yeah, but little did I know, 30 something years later, Dawn of the Dead. Anyway, man, thank you for a great contest, and love your videos every week. Cheers.
So obviously I'm in a dilemma because those both were great. I loved Paul's story involving Mark Burchard. That came out of left field. I'm a fan of American movies, so that was cool. And then Bob's was so great because thriller monsters, and then the big selection of night or dawn VHS behind him, and cool lighting. So I'll have to decide.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.